The lifestyles of the rich and famous revolve around one of these three men. Number one, what is your name, please?
My name is Spend Peterson.
Number two.
My name is Spend Peterson.
Number three.
My name is Spend Peterson.
Only one of these people is the real Spend Peterson, and is the only one sworn to tell the truth. Now let's meet our panel. Co-star of Murder, She Wrote, Masak. Anchorwoman of WWOR-TV in New York, Jennifer Baroffi. Film and television producer David Niven Jr. And to tell the truth's very own Kitty Carlisle. Here's the host of To Tell the Truth, Lynn Swann.
Wonderful. Good morning. Well, what are you two over there just yakking about?
Oh, we're just having a wonderful time.
We're just sitting down here waiting for you two. Are you going to share it with us or
Later.
No,
Later.
it's a secret? Okay. Well, if you're not going to share it, we might as well get right to the first story presented by our team of challengers, all three of whom claim to be Spend Peterson. Here is the story. Read along with me. I, Spend Peterson, am the poolside prince of the world-famous Beverly Hills Hotel. For 30 years, my job has been to satisfy every whim at poolside of our celebrated guests, including Mark Goodson, creator of To Tell the Truth. Some of our rich and famous guests include Princess Grace, Elizabeth Taylor, Katherine Hepburn, who did backflips fully clothed off the diving board, Faye Dunaway, who I taught to swim, the Beatles, who sat around the pool in disguise, and one of my favorites, Johnny Carson. But like a ship's captain, I run a tight pool. It's important to remember names, all manners of preferences, and quirks, but most important, to keep a secret. A typical day's troubles might range from starlets in saran wrap bikinis to catering to the family of the Sultan of Brunei. But I can't complain. I spend every day in the lap of luxury, and that's not bad for someone who came to Los Angeles with $7 in his pocket. Signed, Spend Peterson. We'll find out more about this pool man to the stars right after this. Here we go, panel. All three of these men claim to be Spend Peterson, pool man to the stars. Kitty, we'll start questioning with you.
Thank you. Number two, who was the nicest star that you ever had to do with?
Well, I think we have so many of them out
You're
there.
going to be tactful.
There's not...
Number three, who was the best swimmer?
Raquel Welch.
Ah, yeah, that stands to reason.
And good to watch, too.
And number one, who wore the saran wrap and what happened to the bikini?
Well, we had at one time a hooker and her daughter.
Who?
A hooker stayed at the hotel, snuck in the hotel, and she wore a see-through bikini.
I see. Number two, what time do you get to work?
It's 7 o'clock in the morning.
And number three?
That's it for you now, Kitty. David.
Thank you. Number one, what is the strangest whim that you've had to cater to?
Well, someone wanted their makeup. I had to go for...
Makeup.
Yeah.
Not very exciting, but okay, moving right along. Number two, let me go to the saran wrap thing. Would you explain to me the saran wrap bathing suit saga?
Well, we have some ladies that wear see-through bathing suits, and it is not allowed in this state of
But
California.
then saran wrap is also see-through, isn't it?
It both, yes.
Okay. Number three, what does the Sultan of Brunei's family want you to do for them?
He owns the hotel, so whatever he wants.
Very well stated. Jennifer.
Number one, I'm sure you get a lot of people trying to hang out at the Beverly Hills Hotel who maybe aren't guests there or don't belong. What do you do when you have someone there who isn't supposed to be?
Well, if they don't live there, I have to show them off.
Mm-hmm. Number two, does that happen a lot?
Yes, it does.
Number 3, Katherine Hepburn did backflips into the pool fully clothed. Can you tell me what the circumstances of that were?
Well, it was when there was a diving board there. We used to have a 3-meter board. And she came off the tennis court and did a backflip right into the pool.
Number 2, I imagine a lot of people ask you a lot of questions about all these celebrities that you're in contact with every day. What do you tell them? Do you spill the beans or?
No, we're not allowed to tell secrets.
Ron.
Tell me a little bit about Mark Goodson, number 3. Is he a good tipper?
Pretty good.
Good, just pretty good. Number 2, it says one of your favorites is Johnny Carson. Now, Johnny Carson lives in California. Why would he go to the Beverly Hills Hotel?
Well, it was way back in 1962 that I saw Mr. Carson. Yes.
What famous street is the Beverly Hills Hotel on, number 1?
Sunset Boulevard.
And number 2, what is a famous restaurant that's in the Beverly Hills Hotel?
The Polo Lounge.
And number 3...
Ah, there's that bell, which means, panel, your time is up, and time for you to vote for either number 1, number 2, or number 3. Our team of challengers will receive $500 for each incorrect vote with a guarantee of $1,000, and if they fool the panel completely, they'll get $3,000. So, Kitty, do you know who it is?
I have to disqualify myself because Spend Peterson has taken care of me many times, many early mornings in the swim, and we've had a lot of conversations together, and he's a terrific pool man. He really is wonderful. I couldn't praise him more highly. He's terrific. So I have to disqualify myself.
All right. David?
Well, Kitty and I always tend to agree, and I also have to disqualify myself because I'm the one who lent him the saran wrap. So...
My goodness. That's amazing. David. Jennifer.
Well, I really hate to do this, but I too have had the pleasure of spending a little bit of time around the Beverly Hills pool, so I also have to disqualify myself.
My goodness.
And it's a wonderful place.
Am I the only person who's never stayed
Wait a minute, Lynn,
at
you're
the
talking
Beverly
to
Hills Hotel?
No, you're talking to a street kid from Chicago.
Ron,
I'm
it's
sorry,
on your
Sven, I'm the
shoulders.
only one that doesn't know you. I mean, I feel like a damn fool now. But I'll tell you why I went for number 2. I went for number 2 simply because he knew the name of the Polo Lounge, and he just seemed like a very quiet man. And number 3, Mark Goodson's a big tipper.
Well, I should tell everyone, when our panel has to disqualify themselves, it counts as a wrong vote for the team of challengers. So right now, you're looking at 3 wrong votes. Well, let's recap. Number 2, you have a vote. That's the shortest recap I've ever done. Now it's time to find out who the real poolside prince is. With a real Spend Peterson, please stand up. One shot and 4, and you're the only man stopping the panel from having been completely skunked on this one.
Well, I'm sorry.
I've got to ask you this question. You've been by that pool. Did you ever happen to save a life in all this time? I mean, anybody ever get in trouble?
No, babies usually get trouble because they crawl. We used to have a sandbox way down the other end, and they usually, the mothers leave the babies alone and go and make a phone call, and then they quickly go over to the pool, edge of the pool, and try to go in. So we did a couple of times there, yeah.
Yeah, you make sure you have to block those kids.
That's right.
That's terrific. Let's find out about your imposters, who they are and what they really do. Number 1, your name?
My name is Jan Brodin, and I'm a musician.
Terrific.
Thank you.
And number 3.
My name is Tommy Enneberg. I own a Porsche shop in Locker Center.
Well, there was only 1 vote, Ron Masak. He got it right, which means the disqualifications count as 3 incorrect votes. Your team will receive $1,500. Thank you all for being here and playing on To Tell the Truth. We'll be back with a grandmother who took a ride to the end of the earth right after this. Stay with us. We're back. Let's meet our next team of challengers.
Number 1, what is your name, please?
My name is Katherine Rambo.
Number 2.
My name is Katherine Rambo.
Number 3.
My name is Katherine Rambo.
And panel, it's up to you to locate the real Katherine Rambo, who might be the mother of John Rambo. Anyway, here's her story. Read along with me. I, Katherine Rambo, rode a motorcycle from the United States to the tip of South America. I found myself without a job and asked myself, what does a grandmother do with a little spare time? I decided to buy a motorcycle and hit the road. I hopped on my motorcycle in Florida, rode to Texas, then into Mexico, through Central America, then cruised down the coastline of South America to Tierra del Fuego, Argentina, often called the end of the world. I rode through guerrilla war zones and passed hundreds of burned-out cars and trucks. The best part of the trip was riding alone for thousands of miles in the high desert of Peru and Chile. After 373 days, I finally reached my destination. I celebrated in a local seaside restaurant as the local band played a tango in my honor. Signed, Katherine Rambo. Of course, Ron, you realize that reference to John Rambo was Sylvester Stallone in all of his movies.
I understood that, Lynn. You know, hey, I understood that. Yeah. Is it me?
It's you, Ron.
Number one, what kind of a motorcycle do you ride?
I have a 250 Honda.
250 Honda. Number two, what do they call a motorcycle? What's a nickname for a motorcycle?
A hog?
Number three, it said you found yourself without a job. What did you do before you decided to take this trip?
I was a video magazine editor.
A video magazine editor. Number one, did you have a map, or did you just go on your own?
Oh, no, a lot of preparation went into it.
So did
Maps?
Time's up, Jennifer.
Number two, what possessed you to do this? Had you ever ridden a motorcycle before? Was this the love of yours?
Honey, at my age, anything goes. Now or never.
Okay, I will buy that. Number three, what kind of provisions did you take along?
Sleeping bag, extra clothes, spare parts, lots of lipstick.
Number one, were you alone most of the time when you were riding?
Yes, I was.
Did you ever have company?
No, I never did.
Okay.
David.
No, okay. Granny number one, did you get a flat tire or anything awful like that in your travels?
Yes.
And you
Not
changed?
too many, but a few.
And you changed it by yourself?
Well, I had help. I'd have to sit and wait until someone came along and was kind enough to take me somewhere where there was a mechanic.
Number two, did you have any other breakdowns other than flat tires?
I was rear-ended by a bus and knocked off the bike, but fortunately I survived, and here I am.
You certainly are. Number three, how many of those South American languages did you speak?
Spanish badly, Portuguese less.
Okay. Well, at least you knew.
Kitty.
Gosh, and number three, you rode thousands of miles alone through the desert. What did you do for gas?
Carried extra in a bottle.
Was that enough?
It had to be.
And number two, when you went through guerrilla war zones and saw burned out cars and all the devastation, how come you were never apprehended or questioned or taken away?
Well, I was apprehended, but fortunately I managed to talk my way out of it.
Number one, how did you talk your way out of it?
I had two things going for me. A high profile of politeness, and the Latin countries are very, very respectful of older people.
Oh, that's a big help.
Thank you, Kitty. Panel, that bell means it's time to vote for number one, number two, or number three. Ron, Hot Rod Mamas, which one is it?
Well, they're all very, very good, Lynn. Number one, I eliminated number one because I figured if you're going to travel that far and you had a couple of flat tires, you'd learn how to change that one tire by yourself. Number two knew it was a hog, but I was looking for the word chopper. And I like number three's answer when she said a little Spanish and less Portuguese. Sounded like an honest thing, and carrying her gasoline in a bottle. So I just went for number three.
Number three. Jennifer.
Okay, well, number two definitely seems to me like she'd actually have the savvy to go about and do something like this. I was also very partial to number one. I think that her answer about they're very kind to older people, for some reason that makes sense to me. But so far in this game, the two that I like the most, usually it's the third one that is the real one. So I voted for number three.
David.
Well, I did not vote for number three because I don't buy that business about the extra gas in the bottle. And I went for number two for the simple reason that I loved her remark about at her age, anything goes, and I believe she's therefore the type of woman who would have done this trip.
The brassy kind.
Absolutely. My
Kitty.
type of girl.
You know something? I think you're right.
I think I am, too.
Now that I think about the gas in a bottle, it doesn't make sense. But nevertheless, I voted for number 3.
You made a choice and you're going to stick with it.
Absolutely.
Well, let's recap the votes. I'm sorry, number 1, no one voted for you. Number 2, you received a single vote. Number 3, you have the consensus of our panel. So now it's time to find out who the real motorcycle mama is. For the real, Katherine Rambo, please stand up. It is number 3. I was very interested, Katherine. When they asked about provisions, you said all those things and lipstick. Why lipstick?
So that people always knew that the person behind the machine was female.
Ah, very important.
Yes.
Very well done. Let's find out about your imposters. Number 1, your name and what do you do?
My name is Tony Stewart, and I am a professional clown.
Clown. That's terrific. Number 2.
And my name is Terry Walsh, and I research current trends in the automotive industry.
Well, listen, there's only one incorrect vote, so your team does receive the guarantee of $1,000. You played the game well. Thank you very much for being here on To Tell the Truth. We're glad you made it back, Katherine. We'll be back to play one-on-one with someone from our studio audience right after this. It's now time to play one-on-one with someone from our studio audience. So, Burton, who do you have for us today?
Today, Lynn, I'd like you to meet Beth Lebrandi, or Lebrandi, actually, from Milan, Michigan.
Beth, welcome.
Hi, Lynn.
Hi. Here's your chance to play one-on-one. I want you to meet a gentleman who has 2 stories. Please welcome Al Weisner. Al? Now, Beth, Al is going to tell you 2 stories, only one of which is the truth. And if you spot that true story, you win $500. So listen very carefully. Al, what's your first story?
I created the first Jewish comic book superhero. He's called Shalom Man.
Now, that may or may not be the truth. Listen to Al's second story.
I make toupees. The last one I made was for Frank Sinatra.
Panel, you'll have to ask one question about each story, as usual, to help Beth try and win $500. The first story, Shalom Man. Kitty, you start.
So what does Shalom Man look like?
It looks like a superhero, bulging muscles.
Thank you.
David?
I assume he lives in a house, so therefore does he keep a kosher home?
As a matter of fact, he's not a person when he's not the superhero. He's a stone, a rock.
Oh.
Okay. Jennifer?
What is his particular superpower other than switching from a rock to a person?
Well, he has the usual superpowers that a superhero has. He can defeat anything and everything, and of course, he's good against evil.
Ron?
Does this rock like bagels and lox?
If he's not a person, he doesn't eat.
Ah.
Okay, Beth, you've heard the first story. Now the second one, toupees. Kitty?
Oh, where is Mr. Sinatra bald?
Most of the top part from the top of the scalp sort of back to the there.
David?
Well, now that you pulled the rug out from over him, what do you think his reaction would be that you've now announced this to the entire nation?
Well, part of our arrangement with him was the graciousness of his accepting us to use his name as an endorsement.
Jennifer?
Do you wear one of your own toupees?
No, as it happens, I don't need one. I have a lot of my own, which unfortunately makes my clients feel bad.
Ron?
When did you make this last one for Mr. Sinatra?
He came to us, or a representative of his came to us last fall, and after several fittings, we presented him and fitted it on him in the end of November, right before December.
Okay, Beth, you've heard the cross-examination. Is Al Weisner the man who invented and created Shalom Man, or is he the man who makes toupees?
Well, I really don't want to believe that Frank Sinatra is bald, so I'll have to say that he's the Shalom Man.
Well, I heard some groans out there from the audience.
Oh.
We'll find out if you're correct. Al, what is your true story?
To tell the truth, I created the first Jewish superhero, Shalom Man.
Well, being a fan paid off, Beth. You win $500. Congratulations. Thanks for playing one-on-one.
Thank you.
Okay. Look, how long has Shalom Man been out?
Approximately 3 years.
And where can you find him? I haven't seen him on most places.
If you go into any independent comic book store in the entire United States and Canada and ask for Shalom Man Comics, they can order it for you.
Terrific. Thank you very much for being here and playing on To Tell the Truth. Stay with us. We'll be right back after this. Thank you for joining us here on To Tell the Truth. We'll see you next time. So long, everyone.
This is Bertha Richards. The new game show, I've Got a Secret.
I slept with him. I don't remember it.
Nothing stays hidden for long.
Get that all the time.
I've Got a Secret. Tonight at 11:30 on GSN.